Hey everybody, welcome to Bucketman Scouting. Today I'm going to do a film breakdown on 2023 NFL Draft prospect Keeanu Benton. He is 6'4", 309 pounds out of the University of Wisconsin. This guy is one of my favorite players in this year's draft. This is one of my guys. I really love Keeanu Benton, defensive tackle. I mean, this guy is an absolute game wrecker. This guy would help out so many NFL teams as a 3-tech and a 3-4 defense, which Wisconsin runs. And you can move him all over that defensive line if you want to in a 3-4 defense. I have him as a odd front base attacking / gap exchanging defense that likes to run a lot of odd fronts, that runs a lot of stunt blitzes. So that's one of the schemes I have him fitting best in that can maximize his strengths. So I'm going to go through his strengths and weaknesses real quick, and we'll get into this film breakdown. Again, these strengths and weaknesses are strictly my own upon watching hours of film on this player. So let's get into his strengths. Strength number 1, plays with leverage at the point of attack, whether inside or outside. Strength number 2, impressive raw power, is a mismatch for small blockers. Strength number 3, powers through blockers, taking a wide base, has an impressive anchor, Strength number 4, displays an impressive swing move. Strength number 5, provides some secondary interior pass rush, getting most penetration when playing as a 3-tech in a 3-4 defense. Let's get into his weaknesses. Weakness number 1, Benton doesn't have a lot of suddenness to his game and won't wreck plays on a regular basis. Again, like Drew Sanders, an inconsistent player, but when he gets consistent, he can be a game wrecker. Weakness number 2, while he possesses nice raw power, it doesn't translate to explosive plays when it comes to that interior push. Weakness number 3, his initial burst is only average on an inconsistent basis. Weakness number 4, hips are a little stiff, maybe limited as a nose tackle. So again, I would line this guy up as your 3-tech. You have DJ Jones. This is just an example. You have the Denver Broncos who run a 3-4 defense. You have Zach Allen, DJ Jones, and Keeanu Benton on your defensive front. I think that would be a very solid defensive front. More that 3-4 attacking style, odd front, gap-centric attacking defense that I think Keeanu Benton would do. Okay, so let's get into this film breakdown. You have Keeanu Benton right here going against my top center, Michael Schmitz from the University of Minnesota. You have him right there. His get-off is one of the best in the draft. It's up there with a Jalen Carter in this year's draft when it comes to that first step, getting off of the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him attack this gap assignment here. Bam, right there, that swim move, bam. Gets his hands on the guy there. That's a very good play. You see, watch his hands on this play. Bam, right there. That swim move, get an interior pass rush. Again, that's what the Denver Broncos and a lot of other teams need more of, is that push of the pocket. And I really like what Chris Collinsworth said on Pro Football Focus. I am not a big fan of Pro Football Focus because they use analytics and numbers to basically judge a player. I don't agree with that. But Chris Collinsworth said on Pro Football Focus that if you do not have that 3-tech interior push up the middle, you can have great edges all you want. They're not going to look great. But if you have that interior push up the middle like the Denver Broncos had in Super Bowl 50 with Malik Jackson, Sylvester Williams, Derek Wolfe, that helped out guys like DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, it's going to make your defensive front, and it's also going to make your back end a lot better. So I have to give Chris Collinsworth all the credit in the world for going on Pro Football Focus and saying that to the two numbnuts that have no clue what he's talking about. So this is a very good play by Keeanu Benton. Okay, on this play right here, it's against Northwestern. You have him right here, I formation against that center. Man, that swing move, that get-off move is just really, really impressive. His get-off, watch his get-off. Look how quickly he swing moves, comes in there, bam, attacking. Bam, right there. He has really great hands. He's just fluid when he comes off the snap. It's just the fluidity of his game coming off the snap is very, very impressive. Boom, right there. Very good play. Okay, against Minnesota, against John Michael Schmidt again. Here he is right here playing that zero tech in a 3-4 defense. Look at that. That is one of the best plays I've seen from him. Watch that play. Watch the get off and watch his swing move with his hands. Watch his hands. Look at the get off with his feet. Look at the footwork too with him. Bam, right there. That get off. Boom. It's just an explosive get off. He would bring an element to a team like the Denver Broncos on that defensive line that they haven't had in a very long time since, I would say, Malik Jackson was in Denver. He would bring an element to a lot of 3-4 attacking style teams. He would bring an element to the New York Giants, who run an attacking 3-4 defense with Wink Martindale as their defense coordinator. Look at that get off. Bam. It's a hell of a play by him. Okay, here he is. Now he's playing that 3-tech. I think this is where he's going to be more successful. This is what a 3-4 defense looks like. Again, this is the 3-tech right here going against this right guard for Minnesota. It's a very good play. So I also wanted to put this on here as well, his snap counts. That is something that I want to show people because I think a lot of people, when it comes to defensive alignment, I really want to start giving them something where they can look at their snap count by position, because the snap count is more of how many downs are they playing in the percentile of what Keeanu Benton or Jalen Carter's playing, because you can have all the great defensive line talent in the world, and that could be a reason why Keeanu Benton or Jalen Carter isn't getting on the field, because it's more of a rotation up there in Wisconsin and Georgia. But that's a hell of a play by Keeanu Benton. Okay, right here against Maryland, they're pulling the offensive line this way. Keeanu Benton is right here. I mean, God, man, he is so disciplined. And I just like how he just anchors that defensive line right here. Look at that bull rush right there. Watch the swim move right there. Bam. Boom. He's just so quick off of the blockers. It is really, really impressive. Bam. Good play by Keeanu Benton. Okay, this is against Purdue, against a pistol set formation. Here he is right here. There he is. Good play. I really like how he's anchoring the defensive line, especially maintaining his gap. He's going along, and then he shoots that gap and tackles the running back there. Watch how he's going along, and then bam. Very good play by Keeanu Benton. That's a good play. Okay, this is against my favorite college football team, the University of Nebraska, who last year had one of the worst offensive lines in college football. So you know he's going to look good here. Yep. I mean, God, number 73 got absolutely destroyed. Watch his hand move. He goes this way, and then he comes back and attacks this gap right here. Watch this. Bam, swing move coming. Boom. If only teams could recognize how important that interior pressure up the middle is. If only people knew why you need to have a lethal 3-tech in a defense that can help out your defense. If you have a Chris Jones, if you have an Aaron Donald, if you have a DeForest Buckner, if you have a Quinnen Williams, if you have one of my favorite players in the league, Jeffrey Simmons, if you have that push up the middle, you don't need great pass rushers on the edges. You can get a Malik Reed, or you can get a Leonard Floyd, who looked excellent next to Aaron Donald. You don't need to overpay edges. What I would do as a GM and as a guy who would run a team, I would put a lot of my resources on that interior defensive line, because that's going to help out the defense, especially the back end, the edges, and especially the linebackers. It's going to help out everything. And you see right here, gets number 73. You see how he's stagnant, and then he just Swiss move, bam, right there. Missed block by Aaron Grant, number 10. Look at that. Watch the swim move. Bam. Boom. Against Nebraska, so it doesn't surprise you. Look at that. Boom. He just has such a great get-off. Okay, against John Michael Schmidt and Minnesota. And the reason I wanted to see him against John Michael Schmidt my top center in this year's draft is because I wanted to see him going against elite competition, especially at the center position. I wanted to see how he is at nose tackle. Again, I think at the next level, I think he's mostly suited for a 3-tech, in my personal opinion. But look at this. Bam, right there. Again, that is something that he needs to get better at. I think he needs to get better with not relying on that swift move too much, because in the NFL, teams are going to recognize that on the film because, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this. Players watch the film. They don't watch highlight reels. They watch the all 22 film. If I'm an offensive lineman, okay, if I am a Frank Ragnow and I'm going against Keeanu Benton, the thing I'm going to look out for is that swim move. That is a big part of Keeanu Benton's game, is his swim move. He needs to add more secondary pass rushing specialist move, like a bull rush, like a spin move, all the above. And I hope that Keeanu Benton goes to the right defensive line coach, like a Bill Kollar, who isn't a D-line coach anymore, but he goes to the right defensive line coach, and that can help elevate his secondary pass rushing moves. Because, again, he's going to get swallowed up like that in the NFL if he continues to rely on that swim move. That is something that Keeanu Benton needs to get better at going to the next level, in my personal opinion. Again, he has such a great get-off, but he relies on that swim move too much, in my personal opinion. Okay, right here. He's playing that 0-tech in a 3-4. I mean, it is just impressive to see such a guy that is 6'4", 309 have such an impressive get-off. It's great to see. I really hope that teams start to recognize, all 32 other teams around the NFL start to realize that guys like Keeanu Benton, guys like Jeffrey Simmons, guys like Quinnen Williams, guys like Jalen Carter, who's my top prospect in this year's draft, guys like, Jeffrey Simmons, guys like that are so crucial to have having a great defense. Because if you don't have that push up the middle, you can forget about having a great defense. I'm sorry. You can have the best edge rushers in the NFL. You can have a Joey Bosa on one side and a TJ Watt on the other. But if you do not have a DeForest Buckner, a Jeffrey Simmons in that interior, a Chris Jones, and Aaron Donald as a 3-tech, you're not going to have a great defense, because all the quarterback has to do is, if these guys come crashing down, all he has to do is step up in the pocket and just read the field. That's all he has to do. That's all he has to do. And so, at the end of the day, this is why myself, at Bucketman Scouting, why we value defensive linemen more than we value edge rushers. Because I believe that having a great defense, you have to have a great defensive line. You have to have a great interior defensive line. And that's been proven throughout the years that have been played, decades. That's how the Broncos won the Super Bowl. That's how the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with Chris Jones in that defensive front. That's how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won it. That's how the Baltimore Ravens back in the early 2000s won the Super Bowl, because of that defensive front. If you do not have a great interior defensive front at 3-tech, you're not going to win many. You're not going to have a really good defense. You're not. And that's why I believe that a guy like Ezra is going to benefit going to the Panthers, because he has a Derek Brown. He has a Gross Montos in Carolina. So there's things that I love about Keeanu Benton's game, but there's also things that he needs to work on. He needs to work on a secondary pass rushing move. He is not the greatest run stuffer. He's more inconsistent in that area of the game. But if you're strictly looking for a pass rushing 3-tech defensive lineman, Keeanu Benton is your guy. So this is my film breakdown on Keeanu Benton. He is 6'4", 309 pounds, Like I said, the defense that I think he fits best in is a 3-4 defense at an odd front base attacking / gap exchanging defense that runs a lot of stump blitzes. He would fit very well in Egero's defense because I know Egero likes to run a lot of stump blitzes, and he's a 3-4 defensive mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is Keeanu Benton, defensive lineman out of the University of Wisconsin.